the functions. In the last two sessions, we created few functions and called them. So let me explain. The other one, adding a new employee. Here, as of now, we have created one utility class called AppUtils. In the AppUtils, we have created one launch application, one function, the close application, other function. In every test case, we have to launch the application. Finally, we have to call close the application. Instead of writing the code in every test case for launching application and closing application, we created two reusable components, launch app and close app. This launch app and close app we can use in any project, hence we made them as static. Then we created one library class for RHRM login page, which extends AppUtils. Whatever available in the AppUtils class are copied into the memory of the login page class during runtime. It means this WebDriver object, launch application function, close application function, everything will be copied into the memory of the login page class during runtime because of it is extending the AppUtils. Here, we created one function login to enter username, password and click login button. We created one method to verify admin module displayed or not. If displayed, true, otherwise false. We created one more function to verify appropriate error message displayed or not. When I give a wrong username, wrong password combination, expected error message to be displayed. If really a error message is displayed, this function will return a value true, otherwise false. Also for logout purpose, we have created one function. Using utility class functions and library class functions, in the last session, we have implemented two tests, admin login test with valid inputs. Launch the RHRM application, call login function by supplying admin username and password, verify admin module displayed or not. If displayed, test pass, otherwise fail, finally close the application. We implemented one more test here to check admin login with invalid inputs. Launch the RHRM application, call login function by supplying wrong username or wrong password combination, check appropriate error message displayed or not. If displayed, test pass, otherwise test fail. These are the two we have created. And today, in this RHRM application, let us create one more. Admin able to register an employee successfully or not. Launch the RHRM project, login as administrator, add a new employee and check the new employee registered successfully or not. Log out and close the application. In order to implement add employee test case, step 1, launch the RHRM project. In AppUtils class, we have the relevant function. Step 2, login as administrator. Here we have the function login. Step 3, go to employee registration page. Create a new employee and check employee registered successfully or not. For this step, we don't have the code now. We have the code for even logout and also close the application. So we have to create one more function to implement the test case, new employee registration, right? Where you want me to create the function for adding a new employee?
Library.
In RHRM library. Okay, fine. Where in library? You want me to add the function in the login page class, or you want me to create one more object, one more class?
Object. One more class.
Right. All related functions we kept inside the login page class. Employee registration not related to login. So better you create one more class. I'm creating a class with the name employee. You want me to insert the main method?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Only test case classes need the main because only we are going to run the test cases. Right. I'm creating a method. This method should be of type static or non-static.
Static, sir. Non-static, sir.
Non-static.
Static or non-static, I'm repeating my question.
Non-static.
Non-static, sir. It should be non-static.
This function will work only on the
Static.
Who said lastly static? Only common utility function, many times I repeated. Only common utility functions means the functions which can be applicable for any object, any project, should be of type static. I told you clearly, only utility class functions should be of type static. Utility class functions I can use for any project. Commonly I can use for any project, static. Library class function, the functions what you are creating inside the library package can be used only for this current project or an HRM. I cannot use this code for other applications. The functions specific to one application should be of type non-static. The add employee code what we are implementing, can I use in other applications like Facebook or Google? So they should be of type non-static. Give a meaningful name for your function. Say add employee, new employee, create employee. Any meaningful name will go. Add employee, new employee, create an employee, create employee. Any meaningful name can go. What are the input fields we can consider for adding an employee here? Adding employee navigation, once again, login as administrator, click PIM, no input data required. Click add employee link, no input data is required. Enter the mandatory fields, first name, last name, and click save button. I given the answer. What are the input fields required here? First name of the employee, the last name of the employee. Right. Here we have to write the code. First step, click on PIM. After login as administrator, immediate step, click PIM, then click add employee links. Employee class not understanding what driver object. The driver object available in the app utils class.
Yes, sir.
So,
Extend apps.
extend
App.
app utils. Now I can make use of this driver object. Find an element by its link text, PIM, then click it. Add employee and click it. We have the code till this point now. Enter the first name, last name, and click save button. I'm inspecting the properties of the first name element. There is ID property here. So driver dot find element by the ID, send keys, first name. This ID property called last name. Find the element by the ID property last name and enter the last name value here. While calling the function add employee, user will supply the first name value, last name value, same values we are supplying as input data here. The next step, click the save element. This ID property here. We have the code up to, click the save button. Let me create some sample data here. Smith demo, and I click the save button. Better, in order to verify this employee registered successfully or not, I'll capture the employee ID 2535. Why I'm capturing this employee ID? I'll tell you. This employee ID we have to search and check whether it is registered successfully or not. In order to capture this employee ID, there is ID property available for the element. I'll make Selenium to identify the element based on the ID property, capture the value property of the element into some variable, say employee number. Driver dot, find an element by its ID, employee ID, get attribute, value property. These I'm keeping in some variable of type string, because get attribute of value will return a string. Get attribute method return the value property of any element which is a string. Maybe the variable name EMP number, but actually the right hand side expression returning a string. Hence I made this variable data type as a string. And is it correct here? After clicking save? After clicking save button, here Selenium throw exception, no such element exception.
We need to
Before clicking the save button, we have to capture the employee number. Capture the employee number, then click the save button. We have the code till now. The employee number already captured into some variable EMP number. Now, click employee list. It's a link. The link text employee list. Enter the employee number you have captured here and click the search button. Then verify that employee data is displayed in the table or not. This is how I confirm really the employee registered successfully or not. There is ID property available for this element. Enter the employee number and click the search button. This ID here. Now I made the code up to enter the employee number and click search. Here, the employee registered should appear in the table. I have to capture the employee number displayed in the table. The employee number what you have entered is really showing in the table. Your test case is pass. I'll make Selenium to identify this table element. There is ID property available for this table. We made Selenium to identify the table element. The table element will have TR elements. I'll make Selenium to capture all TR elements of this table. Because maybe somewhere in the table the data should be visible. If visible, test pass. I'm creating a Java list of type web element to store the TR element one list, to store the TD elements another list. Then the rows equal to the table element dot find elements by the tag name TR. All TR elements of the table I am storing into a Java list called rows. There may be multiple rows. Maybe not in the first tick or somewhere in the table it should be present. I'm constructing a loop. The 0th TR element we are skipping that contain the labels or headings. Then rows dot get of I here I value 1 dot find elements by the tag name. What is the tag name? TD. The name of the Java list is columns. We are reading all columns of the TR element into another Java list called columns. The first TD element contains a checkbox element. Next TD element contains the employee number. 0th TD element, first TD element. Columns dot get of 1 dot get text. The text property of the first column I am reading, this we have to compare with the employee number you have created. If these conditions satisfy, employee is available in the table. The new employee registered successfully, test pass, otherwise the employee registered not visible or displayed on the table, because expected it should be visible on the table. Test fail. Or we can return a Boolean value true. The function return a Boolean value false. If really employee displayed in the table registered successfully, true, otherwise false. The return type is Boolean. We have created a function for adding a new employee. What is showing error here? We have the return statement inside a condition. When the condition satisfied, then only this code will run. Otherwise, this code will not run. Supposing condition not satisfied, return statement will not run. But your function showing a return type. Suppose the condition not satisfied, the code inside the condition will not run. No return. The return type is given as a Boolean. I'll change the logic in this way. You know, the perfect logic here, there are multiple rows in the table. It is verifying the first row data. Maybe not in the first row, it is available in somewhere in the middle row. Simply it will say false. Now here, previously we created a logic like this. We declared a Boolean variable. One moment. Results equal to false. The results equal to true. End of the for loop, RES will have either true or false. If really the employee data available in the table, true. If nowhere displayed in the table, false. If is true, return true. Otherwise, return false. I am assuming the data is not available in the table, false. If somewhere data is available in the table, true, true, break. Meaning, if really employee registered visible on the table, will you be having true? Not visible on the table, you have the default value called false. If true, the function returns true, otherwise the function returns false. Finally, you have implemented the code to verify, create a new employee, check the new employee registered displayed in the table or not. If displayed in the table, your function returns a true, otherwise your function returns false. Now, I can add one more test case, create one more test case to verify new employee registration. Registration test case. Whatever the reusable functions required to create the test case, employee registration test case are available now. I insert the main method because these are test case. Right. So what is the first method? We have to call launch application available in app utils class. Have to supply the URL here. This is step one. What is the next step? We have to call the login function. In order to call the login function present in the login page class, I am the login page class. I am calling that login function. This is not admin login test case. I no need to verify admin module displayed or not. It is employee registration test case. Login as admin. Now I want to call that add employee function present in the employee class. I'm creating an object for the employee page class. I'm calling that add employee function. I'm giving some sample data here. The add employee function finally returns a Boolean value either true or false. If the employee registered successfully, true, otherwise false. The function return value I am keeping in a variable called res. If this res value is true, the new employee registered successfully, test pass, otherwise the employee registration test fail. I am printing something. Now I want to call the logout function. Finally, I want to call close function. Done. So today we have created one more method to register a new employee. Then we have implemented one more test case called employee registration test case. Let us run this code. It is checking whether it is visible on the table. If really visible, test case is false. Again, I have repeated here how to create the function, how to call the function, that's it. Please confirm you understood this code. Online team understood this code?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
The same RNHRM application after registering a new employee, I want to test admin able to create a user account for the registered employee or not. Again, I'm teaching you how to develop the functions and call the function. So we have to, by creating more functions, you will get the command on, creating library classes, utility classes, calling them. That's what I'm trying to do. Otherwise, concept-wise, 3 days back itself, concept is done. Why I'm creating these many functions? Okay, like this we have to create library classes, like this we have to utility classes, like this we have to create case classes. To get more clarity or the confidence, I'm preparing more programs here. I want to create one more class. What happened? I want to create one more test case to verify admin able to create a login account for the registered employees or not. Step 1, launch the RNHRM application, code available. While implementing the test case, we have to analyze like this. The very first step here, launch the RNHRM application, code available. Step 2, login as admin, code available, login function available. Step 3, go to user registration page. Click add button. Create a login account for the registered employee with a role, maybe admin or employee role. And check the user registered successfully or not. These are test case I want to implement now. We don't have the code for only adding a new user. Then log out and close application. Except adding a new user, for remaining all, we have the reusable function. If I want to implement a test case, new user registration, we need to implement one more function here. What is that function? Like add employee earlier, we have to create a function for adding a new user. Right. Where you want me to create the function?
Like orange.
I want to create one more method for adding a new user in the library. No doubt, all your project related methods should be available in the library package. Where in the library? Where in the library? User, no. Add employee, update employee, delete employee, search employee. These are the various functions related to employee. Adding a user, enabling account, disabling account, deleting a user, all belongs to user management. User management.
Login page, sir.
Employee management is different. User management, see here we have various functionality related to the user. We can add a user. We can edit a user. We can delete a user. We can search for a user. There are many functionalities related to the user. Better, like employee, you create one more class. Like employee, you create one more class. All user related functionalities. User. I created one more object for user management. Here I'll add the function, one more function called adding a new user. Static or non-static? Yes, online team, static or non-static?
Non-static.
Non-static.
Right. I'm creating a name of the method, say add user. Let us define the input fields. See the page and answer me what are the inputs you want me to define. For the method, while creating a method, you have to decide and define the input fields. What are the various input arguments you want me to assign for the method add user?
User role.
While creating a user, this user belongs to admin category or this user account belongs to employee category to be specified. The first input field is the role. While calling the function add user, you supply the role of the user. He is admin or she is an employee, something like this. That's the first argument. Then employee name. Name of the employee. For which employee you are creating a login account? For which employee you are creating a login account to be mentioned? Employee name. You see the mandatory fields. Then username. So what is the username you want to create? For example, uname. And here already by default status would be enabled. I leave it. Enable, disable, not required. Default is enabled. Password, confirm password. Whatever the password we input here, same password we are going to retype in the confirm password. So it is only one field only. Password. Now here we build the code. In order to make use of the driver object for building the code, I'm taking the driver object available in the app utils class. Here. First, I have to write the code to select a username. Select the role. While calling the function add user, the user will supply the role. Whatever the role supplied, that role to be selected here. It's a drop-down list element. You know, in order to work with a drop-down list element, you must create a Selenium select class object. There is ID property available for this element. We know one page may have multiple drop-down list element. In order to create a select class object, while creating a select class object, you must supply the drop-down list element as a constructor. User type is my select class object name. Here I created a select class object for the user type. Then user type is a select class object name. Select by visible text. While calling the function add user, we are going to supply the role. The same role to be selected, right? While calling the function add user, we supply the role. Select by visible text whatever the role supplied during runtime while calling the function. If the user supply role as admin, select the role from the drop-down list. If the user supply the role as ESS, select the ESS, that is employee role. Now we have built the code to select a value from the drop-down list based on the input have supplied. Then employee name to be entered. Okay, there is ID property here. So driver dot find element by its ID. Send keys that employee name. Then we have to supply the username. Yes, ID property. Username. We have to supply the password here. A password. In the confirm password element also we have to supply the same password. Then we have to click on save button. So here I build the code, enter all the details and click save button. Let me create the login account for the registered employee Satya demo. Username, for example, say Satya123. I'm giving some password. And click save button. We have the code till now. Then here I supply the username what I have created. We have to check and click the search button. This code we have to build. The registered user displayed in the table are not to be tested. If displayed, User registration successful. Let me do this. The similar to that employee registration. This ID property here. Same username value we are supplying. And write the code to click on the search element. Then we have to check whether this data displayed in this table or not. For that, you need to create a table element first. Same results table it is. Almost same logic, right? We have to create a table element. Capture all the TR elements. I assume the value is not in the table first, false. Capture all the TD elements, get the text and compare with the, one second. Copy this, I'll change it. Almost same logic, just I'm copying it. Capture all the TD elements. We have to read the text property of the employee, user. This we have to compare with the username what we have supplied. We are supplying the username somewhere. We are supplying the username and clicking search button. The same username is visible in the table or not. If visible, true. Finally, your function return true if the user registered successfully, otherwise false. The function return value. So we have created one more function for adding a new user. Create the new user. Check the new user registered successfully displayed in the table or not. If displayed true, otherwise false. I'll implement one more test case now. The user registration test case. First step, we have to call the launch application. App-utils.launch app. I'm giving that RNHRM application URL. Step 2, login as administrator. I'm creating an object for the login page class. And call the login function with the username value and password value. We have to call add user method available in the user class. Login as administrator, and I want to call the add user function present in the user class. So I'm creating an object for the user class. I'm calling add user function. It is asking some test data. First one is the role. I want to register a login account for the employee role. ESS is the role. And for the employee, some employee details. the username. Second, previous I created employee here. I am worrying about only the data here. Okay. But manually I created it, right? I'm removing it. Because already account is available. Username Satya123. I'm giving some password, whatever. Right. Now I want to call the logout. I want to call close application. Now, your next test case is ready to check user registration functionality. Already there is an employee created, Satya demo. For that employee, admin able to create a login account or not, we are testing here. Sorry. We have to write the code here. What is the mistake here? First we have to click on admin. Now that code is missing here. Directly I implemented the code from selecting a value from the drop-down list role. But actually to navigate to the, click on admin, click user management, then only users are appearing. First admin, user management, then users. Find the element by the linked test, admin, dot click. So here we can also write the code to move to the element. Then only the options are coming. Otherwise also we can write the code to click on the user management. It's user management. Lastly, I think users, I'll check. Users, right. We'll run the test case, user registration test case. Sorry, we have to write the code to click on the add button also. After clicking user, this is a page we are getting. We have to write the code to click on add, then only the user registration page is appearing. I did it manually now. Satya123 already exists. We'll check. No issue. Okay. We have to add one more statement to click that add button. We have to write the code to click on this add button. This ID property here. So driver dot find the element by its ID. Click. It's fine, but saying the user is already available. User account is already available. I'll do one thing. Instead of 1, 2, 3, I'm giving, say, for example, 3 to 1. We'll do one thing. Why all this headache? I'll create another sample employee. Good name. Okay, I'm creating a login account for the registered user, registered employee Bhavita. Done. Okay. All fine, but we are not printing any results. After creating a user account, if the user registered successfully, it returns a Boolean value called true. This I'm keeping a variable called RES. If RES value is true, new user registered successfully, test pass. Otherwise, new user registration failed something. Right. Only we get the appropriate output. So here we understand one more user, library class we have created user with the function add user. So now as of now we have admin login test with valid input, invalid input, employee registration, user registration. Again also we are understanding the project structure here, utility classes, creation of utility classes, library classes and test case classes. Remember the test case classes implementation to be changed. Our next session, tomorrow session, TestNG. After introducing you the TestNG features, I am going to modify this code. But as of now, our concentration is creating utility classes and its methods, creating library classes and methods, how to call them. Let me implement one more, employee login. Employee login. I want to test employee login functionality here. Step 1, launch the RHRM application. Step 2, login as employee. Login as employee. Login as employee. What is expected? Employee module to be displayed. See, to launch the application, we have the code. Login also we have the code. But if I supply employee login credentials, expected employee module to be displayed. Do you have any function to verify whether it is employee module or not at present? To check whether it is admin module or not, we have created a function in the login page class. To verify appropriate RM message displayed or not, we have developed a function. As of now, at present, we don't have any function to verify whether it is employee module or not. That function to be developed. And we have the code for logout and also close the application. Now we have to implement one more function here to complete employee login test. So what is the other function we have to implement now? Already we have the code for login. Enter username, enter password, click submit button. In employee login test case, I'll call the same login function, but I supply employee login credentials. What is expected?
Module.
Previously, admin module to be displayed. If wrong data given, error message to be displayed. Like we need to create one more function in the same login page class to check whether it is employee module or not. Employee module is displayed or not. You tell me what is the logic we have to build to check whether it is employee module or not. To verify whether it is admin module or not, only in the admin module we have admin link. Now I want to build the code to check whether it is employee module or not, employee module displayed or not. Login as a registered employee. Check employee module displayed or not. If displayed, true, otherwise false. This is what I want to build. See the page and answer me.
Admin
Welcome,
link should
Bhavita.
not be
Employee names.
See, listen, no, I do not want to consider this because how you confirm this Bhavita is only employee? Bhavita can be admin. It is showing the employee name, that's it. It's not showing the role. If I log in, it is showing welcome Suresh. Here Suresh is admin. Based on this, you cannot decide whether it is employee module or admin module because any user login, it is showing the name of the employee here, that's it. Based on this, I cannot make a decision whether it is employee module or admin module. No.
admin link should not be displayed, sir.
Admin tab.
Simple. Yes, right, you are right. Admin link available only in the admin module. See, this project has only 2 modules. If really there are multiple modules, I don't take it. This project has only 2 modules, employee module and admin module. Only in the admin module we have admin link. In the employee module, we don't have admin link. Right. If the admin link is not available in the page, yes, it is employee module. Okay. Tell me the code. You tell me the code. If not displayed, I'm using not operator. Displayed, true. Not displayed, false. I'm just using not operator. It should not be displayed. Okay, if I write the code in this way, first of all, driver.find element, try to recognize the element. What is the behavior of the find element? How the find element will work? Find element trying to find the element. If the element is not present in the page, implicitly it waits for 20 seconds. Still the admin link is not available in the page. First it will throw an exception, right? This code will not run. We get an exception here. Find element throws an exception if the element is not in the page. We have to implement the exception handling mechanism, try-catch mechanism. If I simply put the code like this, definitely we get an exception, no such element exception here because find element mechanism function try to recognize the element. If the element is not available, yes, not available, throw an exception, no such element exception. Online team understood what I said?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I don't write the code in this way. A try-catch mechanism. Try to identify the element. Try to find out the element. Admin. Is displayed also not required. If really element is fine, nothing wrong, you can use is displayed, which is not really needed also. If the element is identified, written,
False. False.
False, sir.
false. If any exception coming, when the exception will come here, if the admin link is not available, then only we get the exception. If really the exception coming, the functionality working, it is employee module. If the admin link is not available, we are getting an exception. Yes, it is employee module. True. The return type is Boolean. Done. Now let me implement the last one, employee login test. The employee login test case. First step, launch the application. So you please observe, in every test case we are calling launch application, right? Tomorrow we'll discuss about the topic test ng. We can configure the preconditions and post conditions. In every test case, I no need to call launch app. At the end, I no need to call close app.
Yeah.
What is the next step? Call the login function. This time supply the employee login details. In order to call the login function present in the login page class, I am creating an object for the login page class. Now I am calling the login function. I'll supply the employee login credentials. The expected employee module to be displayed. This I am storing a variable RES. If really employee module displayed, I am printing employee login successful, test case pass, otherwise the employee login failed. Something like this. I want to call the logout function. Finally, I want to call close application function. Let us run the script. It is scanning the admin link is available in the page or not. Implicitly, it will wait for 20 seconds to verify the element is in the page or not. After 20 seconds, we get an exception. Because of the try-catch mechanism, it will go to the catch block. In the catch block, we are returning true. Done. Hope you understand why it was waited for some time. 20 seconds it waited because it is checking the admin module is displayed or not. Yes, admin link is not available in the page. Finally, test case is employee login successful. Test is pass. See, in all these programs, again I have explained you how to create static function, how to create non-static function, how to call a static function, how to call a non-static function. App utils is a static method. App utils methods are static methods, launch app, close app. Whenever I am calling the static method, I am referring the class name, app utils dot launch app, app utils dot close app. A static method can be called with the reference of the class name. In the login page class, employee page class, we have some non-static function. In order to call the non-static function, first we are creating an object for the class. If I declare a variable inside a method, first initially while writing the code, I declare the WebDriver object inside a method launch app. I am not able to use it in the other method. When you declare a method inside, when you declare a variable inside a method, it is called local variable. The scope of the local variable limited to the function where it is created. If you want to access a variable among multiple methods, you must declare a class level. And also we understand the concept of inheritance. Copying the properties, in other words, importing the properties of one class into other class is called inheritance. The class whose properties are taken, parent class, superclass, the class that taken the properties is called child class or subclass. These inheritance can be implemented in Java programming using extends keyword. We have created some utility class, app utils. We created some library classes and we created some test case classes by calling these functions. Remember, do not put all the methods inside one library class. For every functionality, for every page, you take as one object. All login related functions are kept inside one class called login page. Employee related operation. Actually, I have created only one method here, add employee. Supposing if I am writing a test case to verify admin able to change the employee details in future or not, I'll add one more function into the same employee class called update employee, delete employee, search employee. I created one more object, one more class user, add user, edit user, disable user, enable user, delete user kind of functions we can keep in user class. So we understand how to create the objects, how to use some object-oriented programming principles. Method overloading. What is method overloading? Method overloading, generally, a class can have two or more methods with the same name provided either number of arguments are changing or data type is changing. Look at this one. In the employee class, we have created add employee function with how many input arguments? To first name and last name. In the same employee class, I'm creating one more function, same name of the function, add employee. It's allowed or not allowed? Already there is a function inside the class add employee. I'm trying to create one more function with the same name add employee, whether it is allowed or not allowed in Java. It's allowed. Provided either number of arguments are changing or data type is changing. First name one argument. This is not allowed because function name is same, number of arguments also same. Data type may be different, but here first name, middle name, last name, all are strings only. I added one more argument called middle name. 3 arguments here. Generally, I can build the appropriate code. If I want to test employee registration considering only mandatory fields, we call this function. I want to test employee registration by supplying all inputs, I call the second function. Say, for example, in employee registration test case, just I'm writing here. Already we have the class object employee here, EMP here. Already we created object here. Now see here, add employee with 2 arguments, first name and last name. Add employee with 3 arguments, first name, middle name and last name. A Java class can have 2 or more functions with the same name provided either number of arguments are different or data type is different. This concept is called method overloading in Java. This is a practical scenario where method overloading can be implemented. I can add one more function. So that while creating the test cases, I want to test add employee by supplying one. I call one function with 2 arguments. I want to test add employee functionality with all the fields. I call the second method add employee with 3 arguments. It is called method overloading concept in programming. A Java class can have 2 or more methods with the same name. I can create a Java class with the name called calculator, sum1 function, integer value 1 and value 2. One more function with the name called sum, double v1 and v2. Number of input arguments are 2, but first one is 2 input type is integer, for second one 2 input data type is double, or one more function sum with 3 input arguments of the same data type integer, int v1, int v2 and int v3. It is allowed in programming. This is called method overloading. In this last 4 sessions, just I have teach you some object-oriented programming related concepts and practical usage of object-oriented programming in Selenium test cases. But as of now, look at this one. In every test case, from tomorrow we go with the next level. In every test case, first one, admin login test case with valid data. We are calling launch application. Finally, we are calling close application. Second test case, admin login test case with invalid data. We are calling launch application. Finally, we are calling close application. The employee registration test case or employee login test case, again we are calling launch application. Finally, we are calling close application. Instead of calling launch app, close app in every test case, if I have some mechanism where I can configure preconditions and post condition, before executing each test case, implicitly call the launch application. After executing each test case, finally implicitly call close application. If I have some mechanism like this, in every program I no need to call launch app and close app. Agree? In TestNG we have some annotations before the test case, after the test case. Launch app I configure with before the test, close app I'll configure with after the test. So I no need to call launch app and close app in every test case. Still we can simplify the test case implementation using another free Java API called TestNG and other one. One level of enhancement, I do not want to call launch app and close app in every test case. Using TestNG features, annotation before the test and after the test, I can reduce this code still. I remove the first statement, launch app, last statement and close app, not required to implement in every test case if I use the advantage of TestNG features. We'll learn about it, how to do this. Now, here I have hard-coded the test data, correct? Tomorrow I want to run the test case with some other data, what I have to do? Every time we have to update the data inside the test case, inside the script. No. If I able to take the data outside of the test case, either XML file or Excel file, only I manage my input data in Excel sheet, my skip should will access the data from Excel and execute the test case. So hard-coded data I can remove from the test case level. That is the second level of enhancement. For that we have to learn some TestNG features. Also automating Microsoft Excel operation using Java Apache Poi. Another API, Apache Poi. Then, where we are printing the results here? Test case pass or test case fail? Console. If I run the second test case, will I get the first test case results? The console is a temporary buffer. It will have always the current test case result. Current program results. The previous program results will be lost. But say in a real time from morning till evening, I am running so many test cases. End of the day, I need to submit the results to my lead or a client. These 40 test cases are executed. These 36 are passed, these 4 are failed. But when I'm printing the results in the console, I cannot get it. In real time, we have to generate HTML reports. HTML reports. Different formats of the reports we can generate. Maybe long back I have executed, today I am able to open. Permanently you need to save in a separate folder. The data utilized for execution also will be printed here. Emailable format of the report. The number of test cases executed, total 2. Admin login test case, employee registration test case, the time took for execution and the results, pass or fail. The data utilized for test case execution. These kind of formats I can send to my manager as a report. Still we can go for next level, advanced reports, Cucumber extent reports. Some advanced reporting features. These kind of reports we have to create in the real time, not console output. As of now, we are putting something in the console, but in real time, no, we have to generate some HTML reports. Maybe after a month or after 1 year also, we should be able to try build 1 result, build 2 results, build 3 results, current build results. Build history we should have to maintain in the real time, right? We need to save the reports in a permanent folder, HTML report. That we have to learn. So these kind of enhancements we have to learn. For that, one by one we go from tomorrow. First, I'll introduce you another free API available for Java for simplifying automation test preparation, that is test next generation, shortly TestNG. Right. So before the online team, before you attend tomorrow's session, first you install the TestNG on your Eclipse. You have to install the TestNG in your Eclipse environment. How to install the TestNG? In your Eclipse, go to help. We have Eclipse Marketplace. All plugins available for Eclipse can be installed from here. It takes some little amount of time, so that you try to install before that. And you also. Here you can type TestNG, Eclipse Marketplace. All plugins available for Eclipse will be listed. Whatever you want to install, that you can install, like Google Chrome Store, like Firefox add-ons. We have many add-ons for the Eclipse. TestNG is one of the add-ons. In my system, it is already installed. If not installed in your machine, you see an option called install and you install it. When you click install, you get to one window where it will ask you 2 checkboxes. First one is TestNG required. Second one is Maven. Better you install Maven also, because we are going to learn Maven down the line. So go to help, Eclipse Marketplace, type TestNG and install the TestNG. Right. So for today, I stop here. Whatever the code I build, all programs I'll compress, I'll upload into our LMS. Thank you. We continue tomorrow. From tomorrow, we start the TestNG.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes.
Sir, last session that zip file is not downloadable.
No. Not downloadable?
It's, yeah,